The last album, actually, I used a different producer and introduced a few new musicians, and it was fun. It was refreshing. It made things happen. It put a different spin on the recording process. This time I wanted to do it even further, so I said, I'm going to try to record out here in the East End of Long Island. And I took all this recording equipment and moved it over to Shelter Island, which is, you got to take a ferry to get there. It's remote.
Well, we came out here like a garage band and made rock and roll. And he would write the songs, and we'd blast them out in this room back here with the band and see what came out.
I suppose one of the ideas behind this project was sort of anarchy. Let's see what happens. And we're in this lobster shed out here with rafters in it next to the sea, and who knows what we'll come up with.
I've seen those big machines come rolling through riot lines.
His dream is to play Hammond organ in a corner of a stage in somebody else's band. So every album we always start out as he wants to create this bar band. And sometimes it's not commercially acceptable.
I recorded 9 things and listened to it back in my house. It sounded good to me.
It's a great thing that he did out there. The equipment was great. It was sounding really good. I just think Billy gave up at a certain time. I personally believe Billy could have produced this album.
Part of what Billy has, and still continuously has, is tremendous vision, but not always focused about what he can be.
I'm thinking like a writer. And the mentality of that is, okay, well, that's close enough. That's good enough. Oh, that's pretty, that's pretty close to what I had in mind. Yeah, that's fine. Let's not overdo this. But as I got further along, I realized, I said, is this recording doing the material justice? It's more than just my home demo. This is going to be a record that people are going to listen to. So I spoke with different people about production. And I had a meeting with Dan Korchmar.
When I got there, I realized what he was trying to achieve, which was to get this homey quality, and he wanted to get away from the city and away from the music business.
Huh? What do you think? And he goes, yeah, it's nice atmosphere, yeah, sound, well, it sounds okay. I called him the next day, I said, so what do you think? He goes, I hate the place. He hated it. There's no pizza.
So I said, listen, this is subjective. Everything I'm going to tell you is subjective. It has to do with what I think is right and how I hear you doing your music. And this is how I hear it. I want to do it in a first-class recording studio. I want to do it with my own musicians. And I want to hear the groove the way what I'm used to hearing.
At first, I was a little taken back by the idea, and I said, well, why not? It's been 17 years. Let me try, working with a different rhythm section. It really wasn't a matter of somebody being better than anybody else. It's just different.
So he told me he was going to use another drummer and all new musicians. And I got to tell you that when he said it, it was like the car hit the wall and I flew through the windshield. I couldn't believe it. I had a knot in my stomach because after 18 years of being with the guy, I just freaked out.
Hey, I understand, When you feel comfortable with people, you want to stay with them. But I think what he needed was to be uncomfortable, was to be taken out of everything that was comfortable for him, was to be taken out of anything that was complacent, anything that was familiar, and put in a situation where he had to react to new and different stimuli.
The thing that really got me to the point where it was like, it's his decision was, it says Billy Joel on the cover. It doesn't say Liberty DeVito. He has to make the choices.
A guy like Billy, a great piano player. He's a great singer. He's a great songwriter. That's 3 jobs. He also manages himself. That's 4 jobs. Now, how many of these jobs are you going to do well? Just being a great piano player is a phenomenal thing and a phenomenal skill to have. Now, here's a guy that's trying to do maybe 6 or 7 or 8 of these things at the same time. And something's going to suffer when that happens. Some element is going to suffer. And I'm here to help. I'm here to take up the slack in a lot of these areas.
You come in with your improviser.
Now, what I'm going to have to stop when we're playing the keyboards to play that part because it's got to be a change of a patch.
Here's on that, keep playing it on the voices. We'll go back and replace it. Let's play a big open sound there, and then also double it on piano. We'll make a big part of it.
Billy writes from a certain perspective. He's a keyboard player, and his songs reflect how he plays on the piano. And I think his compositional style is a keyboardist style. And I think Danny's brought a whole different rub to this, applying more guitar and a groove to the rhythm section.
Billy has his style, and this album is just about kind of putting him in a slightly different context.
The first song I started writing for the project was The River of Dreams. There are images in this song which are very strong to me personally. It has a lot to do with dreams. It has a lot to do with questioning of things. We like to think we're in control of things. We're not always in control of things.
In the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep, walking down to the banks of a river so deep. I must be looking for something sacred and lost. The river is wide, and it's too hard to cross. Even though I know the river is wide, I walk down every evening and stand on the shore, try to cross to the opposite side so I can finally find what I've been looking for. In the moon, I go on. Okay.
I dreamt it. I woke up one day and I just had this idea, and it was fully realized in my mind, the melodic and the chord idea. I go walking in my sleep, I go walking in, and I don't know why. It kept coming back to me. It was so strong that I had to flesh this thing out.
In the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep, walking down to the banks of a river so deep. I must be looking for something sacred and lost. The river is wide, and it's too hard to cross.
I wanted to bring the element to Billy's music that we had not heard before, the funk element. I wanted to sound like a small group really rocking. I wanted to have a raw, a little bit unfinished quality to it.
He's a really interesting rhythm guitar player. There's a school of guitar playing that he does which is not really heard from anymore. It's this very simple glue technique of guitar playing. John Lennon used to do it. Very unglamorous guitar playing, but it holds the whole thing together. He wanted to find how far we can sit in a pocket, which is not something I was concentrating on, but I'm glad he did, because it brought out a lot of rhythmic aspects of the material and consistent rhythmic aspects that I, hadn't been focusing on. I hear this Celtic thing.
I know I'm searching for something so undefined, that it can only be seen by the eyes of the blind in the middle of the night.
The pocket's everything, man. If it has a pocket, it doesn't matter what I do. When you have it, you cannot sit down. If you put it up in those monitors and it's got a pocket, you can't sit at this console. You have to stand up and dance. You've got to move around the controller.